welcome to the Green Hour on WURD at 96.1 FM and also 900 AM on the weekend, sponsored by Celia. I'm your host, Dr. Paul Hopkins, and we're here every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. You can also find us online at www.wurdradio.com and in the community. My co-host is Health Advocate Bill Morgan. Bill, you there?
You got it, man, right here.
And each week we bring clarity to the conversation about health and environment. We encourage clean living from the inside out. A centerpiece of this is maintaining a healthy lifestyle and getting informed about the connection between good health and what is happening in the world around you. It includes what you consume, what you wear, what products you use on your body, how you clean your home, what you drive, what you purchase, and the decisions you make every day. On the Green Hour, we will focus on the environment as it plays a key part of our social integrity. And on the Green Hour, we will focus on how the people and the planet are one. Without further ado, welcome, family.
All right. Buddy. That's what's up.
Mike Moore. Still one L. Morgan. How you doing there, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm good. Great. I'm just cruising. Nice sunshine outside. My tan's working. I can't take it.
Your tan is working. If you are tuning in online, you can see Bill's tan there. I don't know. You've been out on the back porch or something, man? What you been doing?
I was in the front yard. They let me out there for a couple minutes.
They let you out.
Look, you don't let me out too often, Dr. Boy. Sometimes they say I can't trust me in the front yard.
Don't let him out there. Let him see a little grass, but get him back in here.
That's right. Well, you know, I can't complain. I was actually had to start my day off at the tax office. Can you believe that?
Oh, man. You had tax office on Sundays?
But, man, look. We got dedicated folk who'll come out and help a brother out on Sunday, man. What can I tell you?
Hey, wow, that's pretty good. Well, hey, better Sunday than during the week, because I know it's probably crazy during the week. Man, what's going on in the world, man? You know, we got a lot going on, B. We got a lot going on. Of course, COVID, you know, the rates are going up.
Yeah, man.
We have J&J. Put a pause. You know, was it a pause or was it a stop, Bing? What was it?
Man, as far as I'm concerned, it was a stop. But, you know, they say it's a pause. I'm going to hang with that one.
And now rates of surveys show that people are now pulling back off of it, you know, rightfully so, because, you know, it looks like, you know, the insecurity of what's happening really is now raising concern on all levels across the board, you know, whether I get the shot or whether I do not get the shot. But let's first go into some of the numbers. And also, family, you know, after that, B, I want you to give them the call-in number. We're going to talk today about some really important stuff because, you know, the main symptom for the J&J was that, you know, it's causing clotting. So, you know, of course, people are calling in, what do I do? What do I do as far as, you know, something natural, something organic, something that I can do to help my situation to avoid these clottings? And also, what are some of the things that are the signs, you know, of clotting? So we're going to talk about that today. So this is definitely one you want to phone somebody on, you know, tell them that this is a good one here. If you've had, you know, concerns about, you know, what the latest news is going across the board, you want to definitely tune in today, or have someone call them up and say, hey, you better listen to the Green Hour because we're going to go over some of the signs of clotting.
Yes.
And then we're going to give you some natural alternatives. Now, always keep in mind, remember, we are not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, or it's just simply food for the soul, family. So always check with your doctor on any and all things that we recommend, because this is actually based on being preventative. Now, if you have a chronic conditions, you are under the care of your physician. You know, you have to make sure that it's not causing a reaction. Now, there were some things that Fauci even said today that were very critical with that. He said even when you're on the medications, you have to be careful because you don't want to cause more problems with a coagulant medication or anticoagulant that you have that you may be taking. So, B, start us off. I want you to give us the latest COVID numbers and then go some of those articles for us, okay?
All right, my friend. Here we go, guys. By the way, our very, very favorite website is ncov2019.live. That's NCOV2019.live, okay? And this is our update, Dr. Paul, as of approximately 16 minutes ago.
All right.
We have total confirmed cases, guys, of 141,861,840. Those are the total confirmed cases. Total critical cases, guys, 107,215. total deceased. Dr. Marley, wasn't too long ago. This was only about 1 million folk. Now
Yeah.
we're at 3,029,583. Okay. Now,
Wow.
currently, total active numbers are 21,431,011. Now, here we go, Big Mike. Give me my drum roll, buddy. Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. Bam, 120 million, guys. 539,306 total recovered. That's my mental health. That's my mental health moment. That's Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Y'all hearing this? You know, Big B, let me go back to this. You said over 141 million people diagnosed with and that's worldwide.
That's worldwide, yes.
120 million people have recovered. Wow.
Yeah. See, that should tell us something.
Yes, something is working. Yeah,
something's going on, and there is something to work forward to. In other words, listen, as they say, we've always said, we don't know what's out here, so the best thing to do is do it. Preventatives.
Yes.
Do what folk are asking you to do, and guess what? Help out and help your brother out. That's what's happening.
Right, and build their immune system. It's going to bank on the immune system anyway.
Yes.
But I'm going to talk about some of the things that you got to do to get your immune system moving. Being sedentary is causing #1 cause of issues with people clotting. You're sitting around, you're not doing nothing, you're not moving. Same thing is with someone who travels a lot. Those are the ones that actually have a lot of blood clots in the legs. Long flights in planes. You ever get up from a long flight, you're cramped down in there. I had several friends of mine that actually came off of long flights, man. One guy had a similar clot right after a long flight.
Wow.
So a lot of this goes back in just sitting still and not moving, lack of circulation, but also the time of the year has a lot to do with that also. Did you know that during certain times of the year, your blood gets thinner and then it gets thicker? Got it? So here's what time it actually happens. Usually in the winter months, it starts to get thick because you're doing less movement. You're not exercising as much. You're not out in the air. You're not getting as much sun. So now it starts to get naturally thicker. So we are talking about that window. I talk about the window every year. We call it I call it the blackout window. And the blackout window happens usually from October of every year. So it's like the end of October, going into the third week of April. What day are we right now? We are at what? April
the 19th.
Yeah, the day's 18th. Yeah, 18th.
Okay.
So what does that mean? We're just coming out of that time of that dark zone where we were not getting enough sun. We started to get the sun now. People starting to go outside again. It starts to springtime. And now this is the time when it starts to thin out a little bit. It'll start to thin out a little bit more because you're outside more. You're getting more air. You're getting more sun. So as these things happen, family, I want you to go in and start to do things. You got to get the exercise. You got to get the movement going. Circulation is the biggest thing. You got to do something. You can't just sit around and do nothing. You got to move. This body was made for movement. That's why you have the extremities and things that are with your long fingers and your arms and things. It was created to move.
Yes.
So you must move. Stop trying to be too cool and saying, I don't sweat. People tell me, they say I'm too cool to sweat. What? I don't sweat. I don't sweat. No, I don't sweat. No.
I can't believe that. That's
I don't
amazing.
sweat. Amazing. Wow. So give me that article, B, about the J&J. Tell us you had to be under a rock if you didn't hear it. But just go over that. Go over that.
The one where they recommend a pause for the J&J?
Yes. Okay. And what's happening with that?
Okay,
the reason for the pause, I believe it was 6 people or 8 people altogether, I believe, from the time that the actual J&J. Go ahead.
Right, here we go now. It's under the headline, guys, the U.S. recommends pause for the J&J shots in blow to the vaccine drive. Now, the article says this. The U.S. on Tuesday recommended a pause in case of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine to investigate reports of rare but potentially dangerous blood clots. Now, setting off a chain reaction worldwide and dealing a setback to the global vaccination campaign. Now, the CDC, they were looking into unusual clots in 6 women between the ages of 18 and 49. Now, from that 6, 1 died. Now, The FDA commissioner expected the pause to last only a matter of days, but the decision triggered swift action in Europe and elsewhere as the drug maker, regulators, and providers moved to halt the use of the J&J vaccine, at least for now. Halt now. We have gone from pause now to halt, Dr. Paul.
Yes,
okay?
a halt now. Yes,
it's a halt now. Guys, J&J said in a statement that it was aware of the reported blood clots, but that no link to its vaccine had been established. However, the company said late Tuesday that it would delay the rollout of its vaccine in Europe and pause new vaccinations in its trials, but are still underway until it can update its guidance on how to proceed. Here we go, folks. Hundreds of thousands of doses were due to arrive in European countries where vaccinations have been plagued by supply shortages, logistical problems, and concerns over blood clots in a small number of people who received the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is not yet clear for the U.S. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember the AstraZeneca happened about 2 or 3 weeks prior to this.
Exactly.
They were having the very same issue, same technology too. I think it was the ACE and ACE2. They were looking at some of the problems that were causing. It's the same technology, same concept. Same technology, and that's why they're saying now they had to pull this back. They're being very cautious, of course, because they're saying that, of the, 6 people that have, I think 2 more came out after that.
Right.
I think it's a total of 8 right now. I think it was that people had the clotting and things like that. And they were trying to figure out, saying it was a rare situation, but still you got to be very cautious. I always said, that the food here in America is a problem, and that a lot of the things that are coagulating the blood has everything to do with the toxicities and pollutants that are in the food now, and the pesticides, the chemicals, the atrazines, the glyphosates, all these things and chemicals the body can't process. Therefore, it's going to cause a lot of blockage in things like the liver, the kidneys, and also ultimately the blood. Because when that happens, you can't function and properly break this down. There's not enough nutrients in the food to flush it out.
So
you got it? And then you add on top of that, you're not moving around. Some people are eating the wrong foods. Some people are smoking. And some of course, have underlying conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes. You may be on some other level of immune suppressant medication. So all of that, Big B, on top of what's going on, I believe is a contributing factor to what's happening, because you see it. You see it with, people not being able to, move around. Their ankles start to swell. Even the arms are swelling. There's a lot of things going on. With that, you can always say that, check with your doctor, please. Make sure, if you are concerned about these things that are going on, make sure and monitor yourself. So we're going to go into some of those things that you can look out for to say, wait a minute, maybe I should really, monitor yourself if you believe that you're clotting in any way. Now, I want to also go into, the other article I want to call is that Michigan is at a high right now. What's happening in Michigan is incredible. There is a major crisis going on in Michigan, because Michigan is actually representing 10% of the daily cases in America. Right now. And their situation is that, there's 18% testing rate of positive every day. 41.9% of the Michiganders are from 16 years of age and up have gotten their first dosage. Okay. 27.5% are fully vaccinated, including 61% of all the seniors. So what's going on that now over 24 hospitals right now. That's 24 hospitals at 90 percentile capacity or higher are being overrun by the virus. So the question is, are the viruses that strong, or are people's immune systems that weak? You got it? See, that's what we got to start to do. So that's why we on the Green Hour talk about the building of the immune system. No matter what your choice is, it's your choice, whatever you choose to do. But we recommend always building the immune system. That's the only thing you can bank on. What you can do to keep your body in its base what we say best homeostasis.
Yes.
For those who want to know, there is a link. CDC has a website that you can go to that gives the current virus variants in the U.S. And right now, the one that's really kicking our butt right now is the UK one. That's the one that's the highest in Michigan right now. That's the B117. That's the B117 right now. Yes. Second would be probably the B1351, and then of course the P1.
Yeah, the P1, yes.
Right, the P1. So of those, you can go to a link on the CDC and actually get a state-by-state breakdown of where those variants are. You know, this thing is mutating, Big B. It's starting to mutate.
Man, listen, it's crazy.
It's really starting to mutate.
Dr. Paul, it's also in the American territories like American Samoa and Guam, the Marshall Islands, and Micronesia, Northern Mariana, Palau, okay, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. So they're also not exempt. Guys, remember, it's not just us. That's why we keep saying, build that immune system.
That's the number one thing that you can fight. And remember what the Lancet and all the major medical journals say. That, hey, it's less than 1% death rate if you are healthy, if you just stay healthy. Keep your body in a great shape. Do the exercise. Do the things. You know, when they say that it's a low risk factor, it's a low risk factor. But guess what? If you take the vaccine, well, guess what? It's even a lower risk if you just exercise, do the things you're supposed to do.
Just a little things.
You know, you can only add to the helping of your situation by doing exercise. You know, don't just, people are thinking that they can just, you know, that's the cure-all for everything is to take the vaccine and you're good to go. No, you have to do something. You got to move this body. You got to exercise. You got to get you a little bike or something. You know, we talk about that rebounder. You know, that rebounder, the rebounder is the mini trampoline. You know, so many people started getting those rebounders. They called me, said, got mine. Or a bike or something. Get yourself. They got the sit down bikes, man. We have one I have one for my wife. She's got the little small one that you sit down and just move, man. You know. Family, get it moving. I can't stress it enough. You got to get out of the state of just sitting and doing nothing.
You know, something comes up too. It sort of hits me because, as I said, I was in the tax office earlier today. And there was an older couple in there, and they were so thrilled, Dr. Paul, they were able to get the shot. I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm saying to myself, Lord, I hope they're doing more than that. You know, they were just so thrilled. And the lady that was working with them said, well, I'm due to get mine tomorrow. I just sat there and closed my mouth. Because, you know, you can't say anything to people because, as we always say, it's one's choice. It's one's personal choice.
It's your choice. I say it's between you and your God. That's what it is. So whatever the choice comes down to, it's going to bank on your immune system regardless. It's going to bank on your immune system. How strong is your immune system? Are you doing the proper things to stay in good quality health? That means you can't just go out and start eating the donuts and drinking and smoking and all the other stuff.
And all the other stuff.
Stuff that goes with that. Expecting that, I'm good. You know, because ultimately, you know, it's something, man. So here's some of the common signs. And B, you can also, when I finish this, I want you to, open up the lines, for those to call in. If you have a call, question, if you want to make a comment, suggestion, anything that you have, something that you may be doing, or you have a question about some of these herbal remedies, the things that we do, give us a call. I want to go into the common signs and symptoms of those blood clots, some of the things that people can look out for to sort of monitor yourself. A lot of people don't realize what's happening. Could be, clotting going on. So I'm going to give some of the baseline things to look for. All right? So give them the information for us, Big B.
Sure. You guys can reach us right here at WURD Radio. Our call-in number, of course, is locally 215-634-8065. Again, locally, that's 215-634-8065. If you're out of the calling area, which is outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, you call us right here, guys, at 866-361-0900. Again, that number is 866-361-0900. That's 96.1 FM, 900 AM, Black Talk Media, WURD Radio, right here in Philadelphia.
All right.
Hey.
All right, here we go. We're going in, family. Get your pens and pads. I want you to write this stuff down. This is life-saving information that, you got to stay on top of, signs and symptoms of blood clotting that is going on. So one would be exhaustion. Number one would be exhaustion, because when you're talking about blood clots, usually they're typically formed, and they're usually deep within the veins or the legs, which is referred as what we call deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. Got it? You may have heard these expressions used by your doctor. Now, they can travel through the body. Now, in addition, being potentially life-threatening, one of the scariest parts is when it becomes blood clotted, and actually sometimes they go undetected, and that's when it gets really resulting in things like what they call what's called pulmonary embolisms, and that's something that's very, very dangerous, and that's death to some situations. We always don't want to go in that direction, but we have to be real with what it does, because that's when it may break through from the leg clots, break free, and then it actually gets lodged into somewhere like the lungs or something.
Yes.
Got it? So in order to protect ourselves, we have to be potentially dangerous conditions. Let's talk about some of the things that you can look out for. All right. So number one would be exhaustion or unexplained fatigue. Always tired, but that's kind of a hard one there, Big B, because there's a lot of people already saying, I'm tired all the time. But when you start having clots, remember, oxygen cannot flow through the arteries and veins. Now that's caused, there's a level of no oxygen going on in the system.
Right.
So that's, oxygen deprivation. So sudden onsets of fatigue or exhaustion is a common health-related warning sign. That's one of the first warning signs. It's usually no different from the blood clot that it could be forming somewhere else in the body. Sometimes it's the arm, sometimes it's the leg, sometimes it's the belly or the chest, even the brain. So these are some of the things that can be happening. So always look at that. So exhaustion and unexplained fatigue. That's number one. Got it?
Right.
Number two would be redness, inflammation, or varicose veins. Got it? And, might have seen something that, you didn't see before. Didn't see the varicose veins there before. All of a sudden, that's especially in like the lower extremities, like the legs. When swelling occurs in the site, like the blood clots in the body, it's usually the arm, leg. It could be the entire limbs could swell up. In addition, swelling will usually become discolored. Okay, so sometimes the discolorization, red, or even it looks like a bluish color, that becomes even warm, and sometimes it gets very itchy. Why itchy? Because as you're losing circulation, now you're starting to get the sensitivities. Just like when you wake up and you've been laying on your arm for a long time, and then you got to shake it, and it may start to itch a little bit. That's definitely has to do with circulation. Got it? So redness, inflammation, or even varicose veins. Because with the varicose veins, really, when people see what is varicose veins, some people have them in the lower, like part of the ankle.
Yes.
In the back of the legs. You know what that really is, B? You know what that really is? People don't know what that really is. That's nothing but waste. Yes. That's waste that cannot move out of your leg.
Really? That's what that is?
That's all it is. Just waste. It's waste backed up in the leg. And it's backed up in those veins. So that's actually part of that. So that's why you got to get it moving, okay? So if that forms and you start seeing something, you're feeling a little itchy or something like that, that's one. That's number two, redness, inflammation, or varicose veins, all right? Next one would be shortness of breath. And then we're going to go to some of the callers because callers are coming in, all right? This particular symptom is very scary, okay? Because this one could mean blood clots are traveling to the lungs. So if you ever have really shortness of breath, that's not something to play with. You need to get medical attention, all right, immediately. Got it? We always talk on here, we talk preventativeness, right? And people always say, Doc, I used to have the class, B. And they used to laugh at me because I used to tell them, I said, look, you do preventativeness as far and as long as you want so that so you don't have to get into an emergency situation. Got it? And that's the whole point. You don't want to wait till you already are in an emergency situation because now you're past the point of preventativeness and now you're saying, I don't want to go to the hospital. No, sometimes you're going to have to go to a hospital to
handle emergency stuff.
To deal with a situation, to stabilize your situation because you're now past the point of preventativeness now. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. Now we got to take it another level. Now you're going to have to take a medication. You're going to have to do something really quick. So you need medical attention. Do not play when it comes to blood clots. You can't breathe or you see feel heart palpitations or something like that. That is very, very serious. Okay, so I want to say that to family. You know, that's always on everyone's list as one of the #1 warning signs. If you start seeing, you know, you start to get shortness of breath, sometimes also accompanied with a persistent cough. You have a persistent cough. And some of those early warning signs those are some of the early warning signs of pulmonary embolism, is when you start to have like a persistent cough with it. So get to your doctor, get to emergency immediately. Do not play with that one. That's the main. I would say that was probably the most important one on this list right there, Big B. All right, so I'm going to go into a few more, but before we do that, we got some callers. I got Jane on the line. Jane? On line 1.
Hey, Jane, how are you?
Hey, Jane, how are you?
I'm good. I got 2 questions. What can I do about my house is between 2 houses that smokes drugs, and sometimes it's overwhelming. What can I do to I tried air fresheners, air purifiers. They're not working.
Yeah.
And the other
well,
question,
definitely.
About that. And what's the other question?
No. Let me answer that one first, okay? Because we got other calls. I got to keep it moving, okay? So the first one is definitely ionizer comes to mind, okay? Ionizer. Okay, you have a situation where whether you can help it or not, I don't know if you can, have that communication with your neighbors or whatever, or if there's any way you can stop the inflow of that coming through to your house. I don't know what your situation is, but you definitely you got to keep your air clean. Do you know more people perish for issues with secondhand smoke than they do with anything else? So all those musicians back in the day, all them Coltrane, the Miles, all the big jazz musicians died of some kind of lung cancer. Why? Because they were in those smoke-filled rooms, playing jazz all night, and guess what? End up with some kind of some kind of cancer in the lungs. So that's the one thing I would do, is get an ionizer. Okay,
I got one of those, and it didn't do much good. My second question is
it's doing well. It's doing good. Don't believe it's not working, because it's science. It's working. But you probably have an overflow of the smoke that you're going to have to deal with. That's a whole nother issue. So you're going to have to get some things that, herbs and things that you do have an issue that you're going to have to address with those individuals. But you have, it does clear the air. It clears the air. It's all science. But also you have to start to make your attention go back to herbs that clean the lungs and do those things, okay? But listen, I want you to hold the line. We got to take a quick break. This is Dr. Paul, Bill 1L Morgan, The Green Hour. We'll be right back.
Family Therapy, Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Come on out and become a WURD radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun. Call 215-425-7875. That's 215-425-7875. Come on out and become a WURD radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun.
Pollock Herbs and Vitamin Center, 5925 North Broad Street, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This week's special, North American Herb and Spice, Oregano, regular strength, 1 ounce. North American Herb and Spice, Purely C, Natural Vitamin C, 90 capsules. North American Herb and Spice Black Seed Oil, 8 ounces. That's right, yours, but you got to say the key word. I listen to WURD, Dr. Paul, and The Green Hour, and you got it. They carry yours truly, Dr. Paul's Green Drink, Colon Cleanse, and Eliminator, and Dr. Willard's Water. Pollock Herbs and Vitamin Center, 215-549-4372, 215-549-4372.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
Undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
Livelihood. WURD Radio's new initiative, connecting Black Philadelphians with jobs, entrepreneurship resources, small business development information, and financial literacy tools. Learn more at wordworks.com. That's WURD, WORKS.com. And stay tuned to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. You're listening to The Green Hour, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Black Talk Media.
All right, we are back. This is Dr. Paul. Bill 1L Morgan is with me. We are The Green Hour, and we're chiming in today talking about some of the conditions of clotting. If you're experiencing those things, we're going over some of those warning signs, the common symptoms of blood clotting, and some of the things that you got to be aware of. Because there is concern, Big. There is concern.
Yes, man.
People are saying, well, they may or may not have had that because some people had clotting issues before they had the vaccine. True. So no matter what the situation, we want to put the heads up on the family to, some of the things that you got to be heads up on, and then share this information, family, share with it. And also keep your eye on your significant other and your family members,
Exactly. That's why the word is preventative, Dr. Paul. Preventative. Yes.
Preventative. That's what we're trying to do. And before we went to break, we had, I think that was Jane on the line, and she was asking about, smoking. Her neighbors are smoking, and she's having a problem with that getting into her home. I mentioned the ionizer. Ionizers are devices that clean the air. They're more than just purifiers. They're actually machines that actually ionize the air. So that means that it changes the particulates and it sends out what's called the negative ion. The negative ion is actually what destroys positive ions, which actually is the environment in which bacteria, virus, fungus, all that stuff rolls in. Yes. So it's all science. So that's why it may not seem like it's working. You may still smell the smoke, but it's actually working. Now, is she still there, Mike?
Still here.
Yeah, she's still there. Okay.
I would recommend that you do, and just point you into the direction of keeping your temple clean. You got that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We always talk about those herbs that help to keep the lungs clean. We did a whole show on just the herbs. Not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, just food for the soul. I'm gonna give you a couple. One was dealing with things like mullein. Okay, mullein, MULLEIN. Got it? That's one that was always used for lung issues. Also, we call it the smoker's herb. When it starts to now pull off a lot of the mucus, but also tar that builds up in a lot of the pollutants. Did you know there's over 3,000 different chemicals in cigarettes? And then when you fire it off, it actually fires it off. You now turn it into a chemical. It creates these little things like silicone fibers, like little needles that flow now through the arteries and veins and through the lungs. It actually causes pulmonary issues because it's like putting holes in your bronchial tubes, which now means it's causing inflammation. So it's almost like a poison just by when you put fire to anything, you just turn it into a chemical. Got it? All right. So mullein would be one that I recommend. Now, what was your second question? Because I got somebody else on line.
Can you tell me something about soursop and why aren't the doctors using it?
Yes, we've covered soursop, which is actually, it's gotten its traditional understanding as a blood cleanser. Got it?
You talked about that today?
What was that?
Did you speak about soursop earlier?
We talked about that several times, in other shows.
Oh, okay.
But soursop is actually used, traditionally. A lot of the traditional herbalists go back to even, ancient times, used to use soursop as a cleanser for blood. It's a blood cleanser.
Yes, so
true. They use it and they've studied it in all universities because it is actually one that they studied in cancer studies because it reduces the the rate of cancer's replication factor. It actually alkalizes, so it actually does it. So yes, soursop is very good. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Take care of that situation, because I tell you, yeah, nothing more important than the air you breathe. Got it?
I know, right.
All right.
Thank
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So where was I, Big B? I was at shortness of breath.
Yes,
right?
uh-huh.
I was at shortness of breath, right? Now here's another one dealing with the pulmonary, and that's chest pain or pain deep breathing. So when you deep breathe, you start to feel a little pain. Got it? So when you chest pain or pain with deep breathing. So remember, if a clot travels in the lungs, it is referred as that pulmonary embolism, which, as previously mentioned, can be a life-threatening. So pulmonary embolisms happens when a clot usually starts on another part of the body, moves along. So one of the signs that we look for, one of the main symptoms to watch for, is chest pain. Got it? Chest pain. Or general discomfort while you're breathing. You know, usually due to pain, it can be difficult to take deep breaths. So when you feel like, if you're taking a deep breath and it feels a little painful, yeah, you better be careful of that. Okay, just be mindful. All right, this is all stuff not to, you know, we say not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent disease, just food for the soul. It's all just some of the things you got to be online with. So I hope the family's writing this stuff down and then share it. Okay. All right. So chest pain or pain with deep breathing. Now another one is fever or sweats. You know, when you start to sweat, B, that's one sign right there.
That's telling me right there something's wrong.
Yeah, body's like saying, hey, that's a warning sign. Red flags up. You know, lungs, heart, limbs, but particularly symptoms are commonly associated with clot in the kidneys. You got it? That's when you start to see fevers and sweats. Usually when they talk about the studies, you know, some of the big studies were done. WebMD did one on how associating with clots in the kidneys was starting things. Fevers and sweats. So people were saying they noticed that a lot of the clots in the kidney starts with fevers and sweats.
And they have to be simultaneous, not one or the other, but they must be simultaneous.
Fever or sweats.
Okay. All right, good.
Right.
All right,
fever
fine.
or sweats. So sometimes, you know, remember when your body's heating up, it's trying to push something out.
I'll tell you something. Yes.
And remember, you know, it could block the body from removing waste, leading to high blood pressure and even kidney failure. So that's why you got to make sure. In addition, pain in the belly, legs, thighs, nausea, swelling in the legs, trouble breathing, and also clot in the kidneys can cause high fevers and sweats. All right. And that was a study done with WebMD on that one. Got it? And I just sort of grabbed a few more things that I feel that were important to the family. Another one is dizziness or fainting. Dizziness or fainting. Yes, the combination of chest pain, shortness of breath, can also lead to feeling lightheaded and dizzy. Remember, lack of oxygen can't get to what? Can't get to the brain. Starts getting dizzy, fainting. That's another one. Dizziness and fainting. You know, that can also be other things. So lines of infection. With all these symptoms, family, make sure you check with your doctor. Make sure you're on point with your doctor, that you have transparency with what you're doing. Right?
Yes.
Hydration. I got to really emphasize, stay hydrated. You know, keep your water going, family. Water is key. That's why we talk about the crystal guys, the spring water, bottle at the source. That's your key. Got it? Keep that water moving, because water helps the process of you cooling down, keeps inflammation, but it also can move stuff out of the body. So your body needs water to even start to correct the problem, if there is a problem. Got it? All right. So dizziness and fainting or fainting. Next one would be increased heart rate. Increased heart rate. A rapid pulse. If you start to see yet another warning sign, a symptom of pulmonary embolism has a lot to do with rapid pulse. It's not uncommon for a clot from a DVT, deep vein thrombosis, to break off and travel through the bloodstream. And another potential more risk is like the lungs, of course, and the heart. Now, whenever something like this does, rapid heart rate, that's something that also needs immediate medical attention. Got it? You're past the point of preventative now. You need to get somewhere. You need to get to the hospital. Got it? Make sure you check with your doctor. I would even see the word emergency was based off of what can emerge. There's only one thing that can emerge. This is where the word emergency comes from. where word emergency comes from. It emerged. Only thing could be emerging would be a baby,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So the whole concept of emergency is like treat this like a baby's being born.
Wow,
It's
excuse me.
got it. You got two lives at stake, and that's what emergency. That's where the word comes from. So when you're doing this, you're past the point of preventative. Get to your doctor. Have your doctor's information available at all time. Got it? Or the hospital which you're going to be going. All right. Unexpected cough, or unexplained cough. Got it? That's another one. You can feel discomfort in your chest, or cough appears, seems out of nowhere. After spending hours, a tight or cramped space, sometimes you can start to get a little cough. Can't seem to know what that is. That's another warning sign. Got it? Happens a lot sometime after traveling for a long time. You've been in the car, stuck in. You mentioned earlier how some people are on planes and things like that. And next thing you know, you can't seem to move. You say, oh, man, you're on that long flight.
Yeah, buddy.
You cramped up in there. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to go into now. Let's grab some folks online. Mike, who do we have online? Is that Rick from Germany?
Yes, sir. I think it's
Hey,
me.
Rick.
My comment is, in the Western world, you've had problems with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and in Europe, we've had problems with the AstraZeneca.
Yep,
have you taken, or do you intend to take any of the vaccines given there in America?
No, not at all. That is correct. Yeah, I've actually made that. We've always talked about that on several occasions. No, absolutely no. Because we look at the numbers and say, if you're taking care of yourself, remember, if you're putting anything in the system, remember, if it's trying to stimulate your immune system to move, it's got to be a poison. Mm-hmm. It can't be anything other than a poison, because it's in a direct effect to that. That's what we believe in naturopathy. We understand when you putting something in the most sacred part of your body, which is your bloodstream. That's when the Bible says that's the life of the body. That's the life. That's the life force of you. Mm-hmm. That's when, especially, if you're doing the right things, even in the medical journal says that if there's less than 1% chance if you're taking care of yourself and you're doing well. So if you're less than 1% death rate, if you are taking care of yourself, then why you need the shot? Ultimately, because if you're also if you're getting a shot, the question even came out this week when you had the governor. I think it was the governor. Which governor was that? I think he was the governor. I think it was Ron DeSantis came up and says, you're sending mixed messages out. They're kind of muddled, because, I think he's Florida. He's the governor from Florida. He says, you tell us to get vaccinated, but still at the same vote, you're saying you got to wear a mask. You got to do this. You got to still do all the things that you're doing. So apparently it's not there. It's not there to the level. Got it? So what can we do? Build the immune system. All right, bro? All right, I think he's gone. All right, we got Yusef on the line. Brother Yusef.
Yes, good afternoon.
Brother Yusef.
How you doing, man?
You took the words right out of my mouth when you was speaking about the tar and the cigarettes. Yes, that's what gives people cancer.
Yes.
The Native Americans smoking was called a peace pipe, and they had the tobacco, just plain tobacco, no tar, no nicotine.
That's right.
And then when who came along, they put the tar and the nicotine in it to keep you addicted, all that. And then the tar is what contaminates your blood system. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. That is absolutely.
Then you have something else that people smoke that they don't know is toxic. It's called marijuana. It's a toxic weed.
Marijuana, yes.
You put Mary and wine together and got marijuana. And then it's a toxic weed. And it's not meant to be. That toxicity is what gives people cancer and what causes people to have pulmonary problems. But last night, I wanted to tell you about how we talk about the fermentation. People keep eating a lot of cheese and bread. Bread has yeast in it. Anything that's fermented is poison. It's something that's been made to go bad. Cheese is made from spoiled milk. People don't realize that. Spoiled milk that is rotted, going bad, and that's what they make dairy cheese out of it. Now, non-dairy cheese isn't made from that. We know that vegan cheese isn't made from spoiled milk. But dairy cheese is made from spoiled milk, something that's made that go bad. And last but not least, all that stuff goes down it reaches down to the bottom of your feet. That's why people have bad ankles, swollen legs.
Backed
and
up.
they wonder
Yep.
why. All that poison from alcohol, from anything that has poison in it, from fermentation is poison, and that's what swells them up. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother Youssef. Always a pleasure, brother. Hey, man, he broke it down, man. You know, that's exactly what it is. Ends up as sludge in your body. Remember, your scripture also says life begets life. Only life can give you life. Yes. So whatever you put in your body better be alive, or your body looks at it as an enemy. It's a direct enemy to your body. So if you're talking about, you know, keeping your temple clean, know ye not that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. That's what's recognized through all scriptures and I mean, even ancient times, know thyself. So if you wouldn't give it to a baby, you shouldn't be eating.
Shouldn't take it in either.
You should not be eating it. And that means that, you know, you don't want to put these things, because whatever you put in your body is a poison. Your body has to work on its defense to pull it out, because it doesn't recognize. It doesn't belong there. That's the thymus. The thymus actually recognizes, Big B, wonderful way of detecting friend or foe. That's it. Friend or foe. So if something comes in your body, it's either friend or foe. There is no middle guy between you.
I know, that's right.
There's no guy to let you know that something's coming. No. It's either you belong here or you don't belong here.
Simple as that.
That's why when someone gets like a new kidney or something, they got to basically work with them until the body says, all right, you're cool. You know, they got to take these medications that actually help the body to recognize, which means it starts to resonate at a frequency that the body says, all right, now you're cool. You're all right now. Sometimes it never happens, but that's when they say, well, it did your body rejected that organ or something. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about how are you dealing with that. So keep that in mind. That's good stuff. All right, we got to take a quick break, and I believe, is that a break, Mike? Did you say take a break? I don't know if Mike's on there right now. I guess he didn't. Maybe that wasn't it.
Yep.
It is. Take a quick break. Okay, this is Dr. Paul. All right, man. I got you, mate. This is Dr. Paul and Bill 1L Morgan, the Green Hour. We'll be right back.
You probably heard it before, but one of the best ways to stay safe from COVID is by avoiding crowds. That's better. Also, when you're out in public, make sure you stay 6 feet away from strangers or people you don't live with. It's okay to say, can I have some space, please?
Well, it's going to be a beautiful sunny day today, and we can expect much.
If you're gonna have a get-together with friends and family, have it outside. And remember to keep those 6 feet of social distance. And last but not least, wear a mask that covers your nose and mouth with no gaps. They slow the spread of COVID or new forms of the virus called variants. And make sure you get your vaccine when it's your turn. We're all out here trying our best, and it's making a difference. We just gotta keep it up. We can do this.
To learn more about slowing the spread, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now there are vaccines, and they are the first step that lets us get back to the things we miss most, like spreading the word without spreading concern, girls tripping instead of solo sipping, and talking smack with the side of mac and cheese. It's okay to have questions about COVID-19 vaccines. Now, get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when COVID-19 vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Green Hour, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Black Talk Media.
And we are back, and it's Dr. Paul, and we got Bill 1L Morgan. We're talking about the warning signs for, clotting, the concern that's going on with folks are calling and saying, hey, what are some of the signs and things? So I went over those list of things, and now I want to go over some of the herbal things, and again, remember, we're very careful with this, making sure that you understand. Always in doing this, check with your provider and also doctor before trying any of these remedies or anything that you're doing, because you don't want it to be, a contradiction or complicate the situation even more. That's why you always got to make sure you check. Even Fauci came on today and said, one of the number one anticoagulants is heparin. It's heparin. And from that, you have to make sure that you even administer that correctly. He says, because that's a tricky one there. Because if you had a vaccine and then you get the heparin, you got to make sure your doctor knows your situation and your history has a lot to play with that. But, you know, you can improve your situation by doing some holistic things that can help you and just make sure that you are in we say good communication.
Yes,
we always talked about that. When we did we used to do what we say evidence-based programs. And the evidence-based programs that we perform right in Germantown, we always, you know, made sure we were talking about having good communication. I'm going to have to do another show on that. Doctor communication with patients, you know, and how you can be better, you know, better in helping your own situation. But keep those lines clean and transparent. Got it? All right. Here's some that we recommend: not to diagnose, treat, kill, prevent any disease, just food for the soul. Big B.
Yes, sir, buddy.
Number one, turmeric. Turmeric. People have long used that golden spice known as turmeric as for that culinary medicinal purposes. Of course, you know, that's one of, we say, the number one natural anti-inflammatories that's been used around the world. Probably one of the top ones as far as blood thinning and its anticoagulant properties. It's called curcuminoids. Curcuminoids was found as the active agent in turmeric, which actually helps with dealing with inflammation. So when they kept studying, they did a study published in 2012 that showed that the daily dose of turmeric spice can help people maintain anticoagulant status in their blood. So they now started to administer this. Yes, absolutely. So the studies that are done on turmeric alone, or some say turmeric or turmeric, you're both right. Okay, so no matter what it is, it's both are right. We know that in places like India, that is the spice. That is the spice that goes on all the food. So they noticed that they had problems in India, but guess what? The number one problem, inflammation, isn't one of them. Got it? So turmeric would be number one. And these can be found in powders. You can also make it like a comforting tea. You can put it in some hot water and then just make it as a tea, a hot tea, and then you can drink it down. Or you can put it in soups. You can put it in green drinks. You can do it in your smoothies. There's a lot of ways you can do this, okay? Cool. So turmeric would be number one. Number two would be ginger. Okay, ginger. That's another anti-inflammatory spice, okay? That stops, you know, they've known that the studies have shown that it actually, 2015 study in the Analyst magazine did 10 studies that showed that ginger's effect on blood clotting is one of the things that it does. It thins it out, heats up the lower burners, burns out a lot of that junk out of the system. It contains this acid called salicylate, which is actually one of the things that aspirin has. Yes. You know, so these are sort of the things that actually help with why people take an aspirin, because it has the ability to thin the blood. So ginger would be number two. Number three would be cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper. Big B, cayenne pepper. I love some cayenne pepper. Buddy. Man. I keep the cayenne pepper moving, man. I love cayenne pepper because of the spiciness. And I also, you know, it just gives something. I've always had hot something because it raises and it dilates. It actually turns into nitric oxide, which dilates, opens the arteries and veins, boom, opens them up, allows more blood flow. And blood pressure increases the circulation, reduces pain sensations and all that. You know, so cayenne pepper would be one of those. And get a high one. They have different variations, which is rated in what's called HUs. Yeah, HUs, which is heat units. So some of the highest heat units, average in the store would be somewhere about 40,000 to 50,000. So you can go as high as 90,000. Okay. All right. Let me move faster. I know Mike is about to hit me. Vitamin E, another one. Vitamin E reduces clotting and in different ways. It depends on the amount, of course. National Health Institute on Health Office of Dietary Supplements actually recommends vitamin E. Actually, vitamin E in more than 400 international units per day. That's what they're looking at. 400 international units a day is what they're recommending. And that's, for example, above, that's what it can be found in almonds, safflower, sunflower seeds. Also, it can always found in there. All right. Okay, number 5. I say this is my favorite: garlic and onions. All right, man.
Right now.
There you go. The onion tea. All right. We talk about that onion tea. Keep it moving. The onion tea is out of sight. If you want to go to my website, you can go and get that onion tea breakdown on drpaulherbs.com. Go to the download section and you can download the recipe for onion tea. But guess what?
Yes.
Drop a garlic in there, a clove in there. Boom.
Bam.
And next thing you know, the American Academy of Family Physicians started looking at that. They started looking at that garlic, man. They said this garlic is working.
I know that's right.
So add some garlic. Next one would be cinnamon. I'm going to go down the list. Cinnamon. Everybody knows the benefits of cinnamon. There's one called ginkgo biloba. Okay, ginkgo is good for the brain. That's when the elephants go around, they dig up that ginkgo. It's good for the brain. It's good for the memory. But it's very good for circulation. Be careful with that one, though, because that is a thinner. That is a big thinner. So, all right. Grape seed extract would be number 8.
Yes.
Number 9 would be Don Quay, or we call angelica root. Okay, angelica root. And then I'm going to give you the last one, number 10. Oh, actually, I'm going to give you 2 more. Feverfew, Feverfew. And then the last one, I'm going to give you one more, would be bromelain. Well, bromelain actually comes from pineapple. You know, the lining of a pineapple helps to bring down it's actually the enzymes, helps reduce inflammation, lowers blood pressure. All right, B, that's it, man.
Yeah, man.
Hit me, but it's back there.
You're back there hiding. You know he's hiding.
Big.
See, there he is. He's creeping up on you, see?
I knew he'd be coming in here somewhere. The time flies, family. I hope you got something. Hey, if you're, listening to the show today, share this information, reduce the stress and anxiety of whatever it is. Yes. Be more informed. Say be informed, be encouraged. Got it? Because when you start to do these things, you're on top of things. All right. I want to say this is Dr. Paul, and if you want to give a call to me, it is 1-877-377-2854. That's 1-877-377-2854. Or you can call me direct, 215-779-7355. That's 215-779-7355. Or go to my website, www.drpaulherbs.com. Join our Wednesday family tree. We have it every Wednesday.
That's where it's at.
Just put your name and email in and sign up, and we'll send you a personal invitation. We are knocking out the park on that Wednesday show, man.
Yeah,
it is actually right. All right, I want to say thank you to Michael Ledbetter and Laura Lomax, our producers, and President CEO Sarah Lomax Reese, and Ms. Beverly. Thank you so much. We love you, and all those helping us, continue to bring this message to our people. Mike Moore, thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
No problem at all.
All right, and Bill 1L Morgan, I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Thank you for everything you're doing, man. And remember, family, we say and be encouraged, be informed, and most importantly, if you're breathing, you got it.
God bless you.